Back here in Baltimore, Roquan Smith, linebacker for the Ravens, running from the tunnel moments ago. The Ravens honoring the U.S. military on this Veterans Day weekend. Hi, everyone. I'm Shannon Spake. And one of the matchups you absolutely want to watch in this game is defensive end Myles Garrett against Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson. Garrett called Jackson one of the greatest athletes the NFL has ever seen. So, how did the Browns prepare for Lamar Jackson? Well, they started the week by watching clips of him where he does dynamic things. Then towards the end of the week, they watched video clips of defenses making him look, quote, human. Kevin Stefanski told us Lamar Jackson is a big play quarterback, and the play is never dead when the ball is in his hands. Kenny?
Thanks very much, Shannon. Kevin Stefanski in his 4th season. Browns have won 3 of their last 4 games. And across the way, John Harbaugh's Ravens coming off their 4th consecutive victory, 37-3 over Seattle. Ravens win the toss, defer. Justin Tucker gets things started. Browns will begin at their 25-yard line, led out by the 3-time Pro Bowler, 4-1 as a start of this season, Jonathan, Deshaun Watson. Watson and the Browns offense right back out. Couple of dominant defenses. You look at the points per game. Ravens lead the league, and they are 1 and 2 in yards allowed, and the Ravens have the most sacks in the NFL.
And the Browns are not to be outdone. They played very well, even without Deshaun Watson. It's the defense that's the reason that they're 5-3. But this Ravens offense, when they do get back out there, you're going to see a different level of offense for this Browns defense. They have to make sure that they can handle Lamar Jackson.
5 plays, 79 yards. Keaton Mitchell looking up towards his dad, a former Super Bowl champion with the Ravens. Anthony Mitchell, who scored a huge touchdown himself during that Super Bowl run in a divisional playoff game against the Tennessee Titans.
And all smiles for Keaton Mitchell, as he should be. His dad is proud. Keaton Mitchell, I mean, that was blazing speed. We call guys like that fast, right? 3 rushes, 30-plus yards this season, most in the NFL.
30, brought down at the 34-yard line.
Keaton Mitchell last week versus Seattle Seahawks, going over 20 miles an hour, almost 21 miles an hour on his way to a touchdown run. The next time around, he gets the ball, first touch, out the gate. Blows right by everybody for the Cleveland Browns. They had no chance on that touchdown run.
For a gain of 7 as we head to Los Angeles for a game break. Carissa.
Thank you so much, Kenny. The Ravens will see the Bengals on Thursday. Bengals 4-game winning streak hosting Houston. Joe Burrow throws a perfect pass to Trent Irwin for a 32-yard score. Cincy up 7-0. Kenny?
Thanks, Carissa. First.
Gus is another guy. We love watching him. He's got the Gus bus. Last 3 weeks, 6 touchdowns, most in the NFL. Inside the opponent's 5-yard line, 5 rushes, 5 touchdowns. And offensive coordinator Todd Monken talked about how when the pass comes on, he shines. He is one of the best at doing it for the Ravens.
For more on Keaton Mitchell, Shannon.
My goodness, isn't he the feel-good story right now of the Ravens? John Harbaugh was one of the very first guys standing on the sideline to congratulate him when he came over. Of course, he had that breakout game last week, 138 yards, 1 touchdown. His dad in the stands here today, as you guys showed, biggest fan. I talked to Keaton pregame. He told me last week his dad said, hey, remember the 24-hour rule. You can celebrate for 24 hours. Today, his advice to his son was stay warm. I think he's staying pretty warm moving those legs the way he is.
We take you back to that divisional playoff game with the Ravens on their run to the Super Bowl. Al Del Greco, place kicker for Tennessee. There's Anthony Mitchell, number 42, a 90-yard return.
He put on the burners, right? 90 yards. You can't get that far if you're not pretty fast. Gets a nice touchdown, and Ravens seal that victory on the way to a Super Bowl championship. And that is a proud dad looking on, seeing as Keaton Mitchell really coming into his own in the NFL.
Out across the 40. Every team in the division above 500. Ravens best point differential. Steelers with 5 wins, in close games. Talked about this Browns defense, and Cincinnati, they will visit the Ravens on Thursday. 4 straight wins for the Bengals. So you have the Ravens at 7-2, and then the 3 other teams all with records of 5-3.
Both the Ravens and the Browns talked about this is the best division in all of football. And at first you think, oh, they're being a little biased, when you start to look at their record first and foremost. And then how they dominated against other divisions, you say, man, they're right. This really is the toughest division in football.
From the 40-yard line, Jackson on first down. Jackson gains a couple. Forced out of bounds by the Browns' leading tackler, Grant Delpit. Here's what John Harbaugh had to say about participating in the AFC North. And everyone we talk to, Jonathan, on both sides, they say every divisional game feels like it's the playoffs.
They're right. Look at the physicality we've seen so far. Just watch Lamar Jackson stiff-arm Grant Delpit, who's one of the better safeties. This is the #1 defense that they're going up against, and they've already put 14 points on, or 17 points on them.
As we check in with Carissa.
Thank you, Kenny. So the Texans down 7-0 in Cincy when C.J. Stroud throws it out to Tank Dell, who makes a great move, dives in for the score. All tied up at 7. Kenny?
Salute to Service is the year-round effort by the NFL and its military partners to honor, empower, and connect with our nation's service members, veterans, and their families. Visit NFL.com/salute to learn about the NFL's impact with its Salute to Service partners. The commissioner of the NFL, Roger Goodell, on the field prior to the game today here in Baltimore, greeting the veterans.
There's a nice sign. It's talkie-talkie, and there's Lamar Jackson. You know, can't say enough about how much he's worked at it. You hear about all his athleticism. You never hear about how much he actually practices, focuses on, talks to Todd Monken, offensive coordinator, about improving as a passer, completion percentage, everything is up for him. And Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator we just saw, he's the reason. He's helped him out, getting him to understand his mechanics and to throw on time.
Edwards gains 6. Carissa.
Thanks, Kenny. Vikings were already up 10-3 when Joshua Dobbs picking up right where he left off from last week, avoiding the rush, spins out of the pocket, outruns everyone to the pylon for the score. Vikings in front 17-3 over the Saints. Kenny?
Time, Kurt.
Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, will be live here at the U.S. Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. Gronk jumped out of the plane on the pregame show. This crowd is still jacked. We'll have the cadets and highlights for you when we come back with the Verizon Halftime.
What a day for Gronk.
I couldn't tell if Gronk was a cadet or if he was part of NFL. He was so excited. He looked like he was cheering harder than the cadets were.
35 seconds remaining. This was here in Baltimore prior to the game. The Navy Leapfrogs. We saw them in practice on Friday at the Ravens facility. Entering the stadium prior to the game today.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's Gronk at the Air Force Academy.
And this is why. So now I get it. He feels like he's a cadet now. So what does he do? Of course, spike it down, baby.
Oh, broken up. Geno Stone. So thought perhaps maybe they would have looked to gain some more yardage prior to a field goal attempt, but instead it's Walker firing downfield. Look at the first half numbers. Ravens took a 14-0 lead early, but as you said, the Browns getting things done in the second quarter, a couple of field goals. 8-point game. Ravens get the ball first when we begin the third quarter. Let's head to the Air Force Academy for the Verizon halftime. Kurt, take it away. Today's game flow presented by Progressive, with the Ravens leading the Browns 17-9. We get set for the start of the third quarter. We saw Deshaun Watson headed to the locker room late in the second quarter. P.J. Walker has been warming up over the last couple of minutes.
And we've called a couple of P.J. Walker's games. I like the way he plays. He knows the offense. He pushes the ball down the field. He's going to try his best not to put the offense in harm's way. And he's won games before in this league. So, you know, it's not like the Browns have to just fold it in. They have a guy that can handle this.
He started 2 games this season for the Browns, winning 1. Duvernay on the return. And we head downstairs, check in with Shannon.
So, guys, I spoke with Kevin Stefanski going into the locker room. I have not had an opportunity to get an update on Deshaun Watson, but he did tell me at that time that he was in some pain. They brought him into the locker room early with that left ankle. They were going to take a look at it. I asked Stefanski what, if anything, would make him make a quarterback change, and he said just if he can't go, if he's in enough pain. But he did tell me the story so far in the first half was just settling for 3 points rather than 7 points. That's something they need to clean up.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Shannon. And part of it is the offense. You got to take shots into the end zone as opposed to just settling for the check down.
Keller, we check in with Carissa.
Thank you so much, Kenny. Texans already up 13-7 when Devin Singletary takes this one around the end and in for the score. Since he would add a field goal, but Houston leads this one 20-10 over the Bengals. Kenny?
As he was under pressure from Hamilton. Well, you talked about that lineage of defensive coordinators. Marvin Lewis, part of that Super Bowl squad.
That was one of the best defenses ever. 2000 Ravens defense. Mike Nolan, Rex Ryan went on to be a head coach. Wink Martindale was over at the Giants. He had a lot of success. Chuck Pagano, he was actually my secondary coach back at University of Miami. So you look and see, and he sees the lineage. He knows what makes a great defense, and he's got another great one for this Ravens team. 5 so far.
Looking to get it into the end zone for the first time today. Browns have been held to 3 field goals during their previous 3 trips to the red zone. What must they do here?
I'm looking at Deshaun Watson. I want to see him manipulate the defense. The same way I showed that he manipulated the defense to get a nice gain to Amari Cooper. Do the same thing in the red zone. If you want Amari Cooper on a slant or you want someone on the inside, start looking to the right. Have that fast defense flow to the right and then come right back and zip it in on the backside. That's the way that you start to score on this defense, but it starts with your quarterback. The Browns.
Fair catch called for by Duvernay. A look at Lamar Jackson's day.
Loving Lamar Jackson on the move. He's throwing on target. They get him out of the pocket, and he's making nice plays. Here's one to Keaton Mitchell, and this is a touchdown to Odell Beckham. It was just beautiful. Great execution all around from Lamar Jackson to Odell Beckham to convert that touchdown. And now all of a sudden, Deshaun Watson starting to catch up with Lamar Jackson, 13-27. Pass yards are almost getting there. Each has an interception, though. That's big.
Shannon.
Hey guys, it's funny. I did catch up with Mark Andrews pregame. I asked him about that, about him finding Lamar, and he just kind of blew it off and laughed. And he said he does all of the hard work. I just have to find out where my quarterback is throwing the ball. I did ask him about that peanut butter and jelly, bread and butter kind of reference, and he laughed again. He said, hey, you know, 2 things that go well together. I guess that's myself and Lamar.
Mark Andrews, a 3-time Pro Bowler and among tight ends in the league since 2018 when Andrews was drafted. Only the guy from the Chiefs has more touchdowns than Mark Andrews.
That's some guy named Travis Kelce.
They're 25. Who will be the king of the North? All 4 teams with winning records, all in playoff positions. 17-6 against the other divisions. Cincinnati trailing Houston by 10. And Pittsburgh leading Green Bay.
And it's not just that they beat the other teams in other divisions. It's the way that they're handling their business against those other teams.
Ford out to the 47 as we check in with Carissa.
Thank you, Kenny. Letting you guys know what's coming up next. It's America's Game of the Week. Tommy DeVito, first career start against division rival, the Dallas Cowboys, and Dak Prescott looking to rebound after last week's loss to the Eagles. It's all coming up next. It's America's Game of the Week.
All right, Carissa, we look forward to it. NFC East matchup, Cowboys-Giants. So Lamar Jackson and the Ravens offense back on the field, but how about Deshaun Watson? He did not initially come out at the start of the second half, suffered the ankle injury late in the second quarter, but impressive on that last drive. 4 for 4, 58 yards.
Yeah, one, it shows his toughness and it shows his leadership, where he's injured, doesn't matter, doesn't make any excuses, and continues to go out there and find ways to make plays for this offense. What I also like is that he's looking downfield, he's taking his time in the pocket, understands when he needs to get out and scramble or sit in there and make that tough throw, which he's done in the second half for the Browns.
Ravens lead zone. What a game here in Baltimore. Coming up, our NFL doubleheader continues with America's Game of the Week. Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants with Tommy DeVito starting at quarterback, living at his parents' house in New Jersey. First career start, living at home.
Getting his bed made, food for him when he gets home. I mean, that's the life.
Doesn't have to worry about anything but football. Lives about 10 miles from MetLife Stadium and the Giants facility.
So with that being said, we should expect a perfect game from him, right? He has no issues. He goes home and everything's done for him. All he has to worry about is football.
Today. So DeVito will become the 10th rookie quarterback to start a game this season. That will be a new NFL record.
And you kind of think about how the league has gone, and you don't mind some of these rookies playing, but boy, they go against some of these top-tier defenses. As DeVito's going to go against the Cowboys, it's going to be a tough night out for him. Figure it out.
Now the Ravens call timeout. 4 turnovers. Combined 20 points off those miscues. Browns missed the extra point. Ravens have not trailed. Brown, it's a 1-point game because Dustin Hopkins missed this extra point midway through the fourth quarter after the Newsom interception return for a touchdown. Is good. There is a flag. The officials get together.
All the Ravens, they keep pointing as if it's going to be a penalty on the Browns, but then the Browns are cheering. It looks like it's going to be on the Ravens.
There is no fouls for illegal leverage. Field goal will count. This will end the game.
They pick up the flag. What a comeback by the Cleveland Browns. They trailed 14-0 early.
Let's go.
Have come back to defeat the Baltimore Ravens 33-31. America's Game of the Week coming up next.